Hi, my name is Mrs. Weaver, and welcome to the Art Studio. This lesson is all about form, which is one of the elements of art. And form is something that has height, width, and depth. So we're talking about 3D objects here. We can have actual 3D objects for our lesson, or we can have the illusion of a 3D object, and that's what we're going to work on today. We're going to talk about, I don't know if I can say this, but one of my favorite artists, Wayne Thiebaud. He's known for his tasty treats and pastries and cakes. Let's just jump into his artwork, shall we? These are just basic cylinders, but the way he uses color and texture, he really lays on that paint thick, so it actually looks like icing on a cake. Again, he's using the same shape of a cylinder, creating form, making these look incredibly realistic. I mean, really, you just want to lick the icing off a lot of these, am I right? Something else to notice is that Thiebaud doesn't really use black. In the shadows, he's using colors like blues and purples, sometimes oranges and reds, so they're colors that you wouldn't typically expect in a shadow. Alright, before we go into drawing our cakes, I just want to talk a little bit about the difference between a circle and a cylinder. A circle is something very basic. It is a line that is curved back on itself. You could also say that this is a shape, and you could also say that this is 2D or flat. And the goal of this lesson is to take something that is actually flat and make it look three-dimensional. We're giving the illusion. So here is a cylinder. So if you look at it from this perspective, all you see is a circle. But if you turn it, if you change your perspective, you can start to see that this is a cylinder. You could call it a form. And you could also say that it's 3D because it has height, width, and depth. So it has all those three things. And the shape actually changes from this circle. As your perspective changes, the top actually turns into an oval shape. All right, and that shape right there is the base for our cake. So keep that in mind when we start drawing. Let's get started. All right, what you'll need for this part of the project is a pencil, and if you have an eraser handy, and some paper. So let's get started. So the first thing that we're going to do, if we're using this as our example, is we're going to make this oval shape or this elliptical shape at the top, and then some vertical lines that go down each side. When I'm drawing, I actually draw it very lightly with sketchy lines, if you will, just so I can draw it light until I get it right. So I'm going to draw 2 vertical lines on either side, and it looks a little bit messy, but we'll clean that up later. And then I'm going to mimic the same curved line here is the same line that's going to happen here. So if you see this right here, this line is curved. It's not flat. A lot of beginning artists like to make this a straight line, and what's going to take it up a notch is, if you notice, this is actually a curved line here. So make sure that this is a curved line right at the bottom. Great. All right. We could leave it like that and decorate it, and that's fine, but if you want to take it up a notch, like my example, let's cut out a slice, shall we? Okay, so I'm going to make a dot right here. I'm going to kind of eyeball where the center of the cake is, and then I'm going to cut out a little wedge. Let's get in a little bit closer for that. I'm going to have a diagonal line to the left. Ooh, that was a big piece. Diagonal piece to the right. So it's almost like a triangle shape without the bottom. Then I'm going to copy these lines right here. It's actually going to be a parallel vertical line all the way down here, all the way down here. And then right here in the middle of the cake, we're going to make another vertical line and stop a little bit short, because these lines right here are going to be parallel. So the same diagonal line is going to happen here. If you need to turn your paper, that's fine too, if that's easier. So this same diagonal line is going to go here. Yeah, that is a big piece of cake. That sounds delicious right now. So these lines right here, luckily we drew lightly, can go away. And voila, you have a basic cake. So just a reminder what I did. Oval shape, vertical lines on either side, and then that same curved line I made down here. And that's really what's going to set yours apart, is if this line is curved and not straight across. Then if you decided, we took a big chunk of cake out of here. So we did diagonal lines here and here. Ooh, let me clean that up. And then mimic these same lines here. So when I say parallel, just sneak in some math in there. These are lines that don't touch, so they're equally spaced apart. These are also parallel lines. Okay, you could leave it like that, or is yours a 2-layer cake? I don't know. Let me show you how. Again, we're copying the same diagonal line right in the center. We're going to double it up because that is going to be yummy icing in the center. Same thing over here. We're going to copy this diagonal line right here. And voila, you got a yummy, tasty cake. Now, I'm going to flip back over to some examples of Wayne Thiebaud to see if you want some inspiration for how you want to decorate yours, and I'll meet you back here in a minute. Once you have your basic forms drawn, I suggest adding some shadows and cast shadows. For me, the light source is coming from the top right side, so that means that the inside right side of the cake will have a shadow to it. So I'm just going to do some light cross-hatching to show that there's a shadow. I'm also going to create a cast shadow to the left of the cake, kind of mirroring the shape of the cake, doing a little cross-hatching as well. Alright, so here's the finished product, and something I wanted to point out is Wayne Thiebaud doesn't typically use black in his artwork. If you really look with your artist eyes at his shadows, he's using different colors. So for me, I'm using blue, and that blue that overlapped the yellow did a really yummy green blend. There's some purple and some multicolors in my shadows. So if you want to take it to the next level and add some cast shadows or some shadows inside the cut of the cake, be thoughtful about what colors you might be using for your shadow. So just a quick recap, there's several ways you could go about this project. One, you can keep it just a pencil drawing. Bonus, if you add some shadows and cast shadows, that only furthers the illusion that your cake is three-dimensional and that it's a form. If you want to go the next level, you can definitely add color. Today I use crayons, but there are many different materials you have available that you can add color to this.